Yeah, here we go.
We can skip the other part. There's a lot of new faces, which is great to see everyone. And we'll kind of just get right into it, and as we need to stop or whatever, we'll go into that. So this is our September meeting. Our agenda, we're gonna do the welcome and intro. We've got 1 minute updates, then we've got a couple deep dive topics that we're gonna spend a little more time on. That's our new mascot costume possibility and Blue Bash, and then we'll close the meeting out and go from there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this meeting to order, and we're gonna look at the minutes from our last meeting, which was July 22nd. So we had that back at the lodge. We posted this on our Facebook page, which is a great resource for it, plus on our website. So hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at it. We normally don't print these out because we're trying to save paper. But these are our minutes from our last meeting. Does anyone have any questions or comments on it if they've seen them already? Seeing none, does anybody want to move to approve these minutes?
A motion to approve minutes.
Okay, there's a motion. Is it seconded? Seconded. All in favor of approving these minutes?
Aye. Good.
Okay, anyone opposed? Seeing none, they're approved, we can move on. Woo-hoo. So I kind of start this out, and I think at the beginning of the year it's important for us to look at this, and the purpose of the boosters here at Petty is we were founded to not only help provide supplemental financial resources to school, for school activities and different things, but also for volunteer opportunities and help out with some of the programs at school. And then finally also to encourage school spirit. So that's some of the big things. I think that's why the Bobcat in our name is so important, because we're really trying to get that out there. Board members, myself as the president, we have vice presidents Catherine Swanson, my wife, so the last name kind of makes sense there, I guess, and Christina Harris, who is not my wife, and our treasurer Melissa Waters, and our secretary Caitlin Snuff. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we will do our best to help you through all of it. Again, these are just the board members, the people that were elected to take office. We're really comprised of anybody in here that wants to be involved at any level of support. It's all equal share. Treasurer's report. Melissa, do you want to kind of walk us through this one?
Sure. At the end of last year, we wrapped up at $12,124.59. After kind of the end of the summer and a few transactions, we were just a little bit above that at $12,508.27. You can see our income and expenses. Some highlights of where those numbers came from. We were able to sell $185 worth of spiritware at Supply Drop-Off Night. 123 of that is what we paid American Outfitters for those items, so we're sitting at a profit of $62 for that. We are going to be selling some more, I believe, at both of the curriculum nights next week.
Till it's gone.
Until it's gone. We had a great Amazon Smile donation of $19.66, so if you aren't currently hooked up with us for Amazon Smile, it's super easy to do that, and it's free money. So part of the income was a PayPal deposit. Was I correct with that?
Yeah.
Right. PayPal from the Totally Awesome Family Date Night that was finally moved over. So some of the expenses were just money for cash boxes, and that has already been deposited back into the account. So
that's pretty good. We really didn't do much of anything other than sell some stuff that we had left over from last year, and we made some money, which was kind of nice. So thank you, Melissa, for that. And these are numbers that we can kind of keep in mind as we talk about some other things in here. We did set up a budget at our July 22nd meeting that's posted online, and those are things that we keep in reference as we look at the different programs that we move from. All right, so now we're moving into our 1 minute updates. But before I get into that, I see we had somebody just come in, and I'm not sure that everybody knows her yet. But Angelina is our new assistant vice principal, so I thought I would introduce her if you haven't met her yet, or if you've seen her around but not sure who she is. So she's here to help Joanna as we go through the year. So it's been great having her on board, and everybody, if you get a chance, welcome her to Petty. So 1 minute updates. Now we're going to go through these kind of quick. Some are going to be less than a minute. Some might take a little bit longer, but the idea is we're going to try to speed through these because there's a lot of them. New website. If you haven't seen it, www.pettyboosters.com. We've got sections for parents, we've got sections for staff, sections for donors. We have a lot of information on here. We're going to continue to update this. We've developed it with minimal cost. Basically, we're paying for our domain name every year, and that's about it. There's tons of information, and like I said, there's gonna continue to be there's calendar of events, there's ways to contact us, there's information if we're looking to get donors for different prizes or things like that, or grants. All that information can be found through our website at this point in time. If you ever have a question on what's going on with boosters, go here. It's where it'll always be the most up-to-date area that we have there. There's areas on the bottom that link to our social accounts on Facebook, Instagram. We now have a YouTube channel, Twitter, we're there now as well. We have an eBay page if we decide to try to sell something through online, and our GuideStar charitable giving certification is listed on there, which are at the highest level now, which is platinum. And we also have an area where you can just flat out donate to us via PayPal if you want. So that's out there. Please check it out. Back to school night. Melissa touched on this in her treasurer report. We set up a booth. I don't know if anybody happened to see us there. It was kind of chaotic. I know people had their supplies and were trying to get to point A, point B, pretty quick. We set up, we had some of the merchandise there. That's some of the stuff we sold. We have a few pieces of items left, but it's not a ton. But we had a little monitor out there, moving billboard, and then we had signups. And what we did a little different was we are taking signups for our mailing list and whatnot through the iPads. So that hopefully it means Caitlin doesn't have to go through and manually enter them in every time when we have stuff like that. So we're going to kind of continue that and see how that works for us. But we did sell a bunch of spiritware. And one of the big things that we did that, which is a little different, is now we can take credit cards via PayPal. We have a reader. We can take it anywhere we're at now. So that was actually a little bit of a successful thing because we used it for the first time that night. The other thing that we did is when we were collecting names for the mailing list, I'll get to that in a later slide. So back to school night. Spiritware, that's going on now. We've got 3 more days to go. So get your orders in if you haven't. It goes through 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, and then the store closes. We've got some new designs out there. This little flyer that we had posted and came home is only just scratching the surface of what we have available. We have a bunch of different designs of the logos and different items out there, so check it out. To date, we've had 44 orders, which surpasses our spring order total, which is great. And our next store is in November, so we'll have another one in November. So if you missed this one, unfortunately, if you missed that September 7th date, you miss it, you'll have to wait till November, and then you can place another order. But these items will come back to us around September 20th, I believe, and then we'll get them out as soon as we can. If there's a ton of orders, if anybody wants to help us distribute them, it's actually pretty easy. They should all just come in and then just pass them out to the different classrooms, but hopefully it goes nice and smooth there. So that's going on. Get your orders in. Curriculum nights, those are coming up, and this is one of the things that I said I was going to talk about in a few minutes. We asked for a few minutes to brief the groups, and from what I heard, Joanna said that would be a possibility that I can get up and just kind of introduce ourselves as the boosters, and we keep it real brief and say, this is who we are, this is what we're about. If you need information about us, come talk to us at a table. We'll have a table set up there and go from there. Again, it's kind of the same thing as back to school night, where we have sell the spiritware, collect names for the mailing list, trying to get volunteers. One of the things that we have on the mailing list and we set up is if you sign up and commit to 1 hour of volunteer work through us at whatever you want it to be, if you want to be on a committee, if you want to help out with Boo Bash, if you want to help out at the book fair, if you want to help out at field day or whatever it is that's coming up, you have to commit exactly what it's going to be, but commit. You get entered into a raffle for 2 front row seats at a music concert this week. So I highly encourage, even if you had signed up for a mailing list before, do it again, because that's how you get entered into the raffle. So there's not that many names in there just yet, so it's a pretty good chance if you put your name in, you might get chosen. So that's going to go on out there as well. So that's curriculum nights. We are actually looking for some people to help us with the second curriculum night, which is 3 through 5. Grades 3 through 5, just because my wife and I have curriculum night too. It'd be nice to have somebody that could staff the booth for us while we go through that.
What day is it?
The dates on that are September 10th and September 12th.
Tuesday and Thursday.
I can do it
Which day is the
Thursday.
3
Thursday's the day that we need
Thursday,
the help.
I can help Thursday because I'll be here for Wyatt anyway.
Okay. So, but So if anybody can help out on that Thursday especially, I think that would be great. I can handle the Tuesday one because I don't have a kid that.
Don't you wanna go see his teacher?
I've already met her.
All right.
We did the back to school night.
If you want to help, let us know. So, all right, we're gonna move on. Scoopy nights are coming up. We actually had both of our Scoopy nights planned and in the books. I think that kind of took them a little off guard at Culver's. Monday, October 7th and Tuesday, March 10th. We'll try a Monday and a Tuesday and see which one works out. Both days are 5 to 8 p.m. We need 12 volunteers for each night. Now, normally we ask the staff to help out because that's one of the big drawers on that is, hey, I saw so-and-so there. I'll be there through all the shifts. But if we can try to get some more volunteers for that, that would be great. Currently, we have 2 volunteers for our first one.
Maybe could we do a separate raffle for the staff then, like, in addition to, like, we're still doing the award, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they get like 2 extra tickets to volunteer, since we had so few volunteers.
We can definitely do
Something like that.
Sure, sure. So we need to get this out in front of the staff a little bit more. It's just been mentioned on the staff page on the website. We haven't sent out saying, hey, please sign up for this, just because it's being a school, there's a lot going on, and we didn't want it to get lost in there, so we'll be doing that, and that's a good idea. We can definitely do that.
Some sort of incentive.
So, so that'll be going on, and hopefully we'll see that tick up real quick, but that'll be coming up pretty quick here, because it's a little more than a month away. So that's Scoopy Nights, and that's been a great fundraiser for us last year. It was one of our best nights. DQ night. So I talked to the people at DQ. They have some concerns about staffing and tracking orders. So I'm not sure if this is going to happen or not this year. There's willingness to do it at some point in time, but I guess over the winter they're putting a new point of sale system which will help them track the orders, I guess. From part of it, I get some mixed messaging about staffing. You know, oh, it's best to do this in the fall, or oh, it's best to do it this time, depending on who I talk to, the husband or the wife, I guess, no surprise there. But, you know, that's the way it is. So she said she would give me a call after the first couple weeks of school. So if I don't hear anything back by the end of this week or early next week, I'll reach back out to them and see if it's something that we can do. But really my goal was to try to do it in September. I don't think that's gonna happen at this point in time, but maybe we can set it up for the spring instead. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll keep chasing that down, but you know, it can only be what it can be. So box tops, and Christina Harris has volunteered to kind of head that one for us, so I figure we'll pass the ball to her and let her kind of talk about this for a minute.
So Box Tops is going digital now. They're kind of pretty much, any new production is they're gonna start weaning out the labels. So what's gonna have to happen now is you'll download the app, scan your receipt, and it automatically identifies any box top products, and then it goes automatically into our account as long as you have it set as petty.
I think if it's that easy, we're gonna get a lot more.
So there's some caveats for that. I had a receipt that I'd been holding on to that was supposed to get like bonus box tops or whatever, and I knew this was coming out, but I just didn't have the time to do it.
Yep.
You have to do it within
14
days.
days.
If it's past 14 days,
Yep.
that doesn't count. And it won't take it. It is a little tricky if you've got like one of those big long Walmart receipts or something, and you have to do multiple
Section,
pictures to try to make it line up. So it's not horrible.
No.
It takes a little bit of an adjustment period.
Yeah.
So, but it is good on the back end that we don't have to necessarily be doing
Correct.
box tops.
And there
box tops
still
depending.
are a ton of stuff out there that still has the actual labels. So if you have them and they're not expired, you can definitely send them in, because I can still submit as long as they're not expired. They'll, take them as long as they're not expired. So like the fall submission deadline is November 1st. So I'm probably gonna see where we're at,
Sure.
because I know we don't have a lot now.
Yeah.
So but I do wanna send out a letter to the families notifying them of the change, send in your box tops that you have now for the November submission, and then kind of have people start to transition. I'm kind of up in the air about this one. I'm not sure if people are gonna forget to scan the receipt and then we use the box top. So it could go either way, so I'm not sure, and I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Last year's earnings, were $794.
Oh,
So, you know, hey, it's,
that's pretty good.
I mean,
And
you know,
that
it's
money
not-
goes
I was gonna say,
direct to the
for,
school,
exactly,
right?
that's
And that money goes direct to the school.
correct.
Great. So, so that's great. And maybe what we need to do is, in the past, I know for, especially while they have the old school ones, we do some kind of contests and stuff like
Well, and
that.
that's what I was thinking too, is to kinda do, yep, like
So.
2 last contests, cause I feel like this year will probably be it.
Yeah.
'Cause by next year, I doubt there's
Yeah.
gonna be any with.
Probably. I
Clips.
more and more I'm seeing the digital mark on there, you know.
Exactly.
So, but, well,
So
thank
yeah,
you,
so if you
Christina.
guys have any box tops, please send them in.
Yeah.
Do you find out if people are scanning them? Do you find out who scanned them?
No, it doesn't tell me who scans it, it just tells me the date scanned and how much I got, and how much we get. Like right now, we have like $7 and like 93 cents or something weird like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it doesn't tell me, I wish it did, but it doesn't tell me that. Yeah,
We could,
exactly.
if we have, if for the digital contest, maybe we could do is take a screenshot, cause when it does that, it tells you how much you've earned towards it, and so they'll give you like a
Screenshot
cumulative
contest.
type thing, like a dashboard on there. You send us your
Oh, your own
screenshot and.
Your own personal, like when you go into your own
Submit it.
account, yeah.
We could
'cause
do
I-
something like
yeah,
that.
I've
I don't
got
know how
coordinators
well that would
just
go,
shows me.
but
Yeah.
we could try it,
Yeah,
you know.
that might be an idea, like
There's
on
options.
our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Like a contest, like let's, submit your,
Show us your box tops and,
Yeah.
whatever, and,
Yep.
yeah, so.
Well,
All right.
that would remind other people to do it. Like,
Exactly,
remind-
we'd keep it in the forefront, oh, I gotta get mine in, and we can do that through our social media stuff, and we've got Remind now, so we have, text message alerts, things like that, anybody that signs up through that, we can continue to remind people, hey, get your box tops in within 14 days. It's just like a little campaign that we'll run throughout the year, so. All right, anything else on box tops? All right, great, thank you, Christina. All right, grant requests. This is one we might slow down just a little bit more. We've had a few grant requests. Right around the beginning of the school year, I sent an email out to all the staff saying, hey, look, one of the things that we've budgeted money for is grants for teachers and staff to request things if they need different things for their classroom or whatever. This is something that you could go out and do that. So we've had a few requests come in, and I'll just kind of briefly go through them. So one grant that we received is from Jamie McGann, and she's a new 3rd grade teacher. She has asked for some
4th grade.
or 4th grade, sorry. Some new flexible seating for her classroom, 2 wobble stools that are about $60 a piece. That's not including tax, but I believe they're Amazon, so I don't think there's any shipping on that if we do that. We can verify that, but the cost is roughly $120. I went online and looked for something based off of what she put, and I think this is pretty close to what she was asking for. I don't know exact, because she didn't provide an exact link, but this is something that she has asked for her grant. So I'll just kind of go through all the grants, and then we can kind of go back and discuss them. Sandra Weimer has asked for, and this one's maybe an easier one for us, or harder, I don't know. She needs boxes for her Crayola marker recycling. She's asking for 1 box for each classroom, and then maybe some for the common areas, maybe like a teacher's lounge or library or whatever it is. So really, she's just asking for people, if you have extra boxes, can you bring them in and we can use them for that. Maybe we can help them, make them look nicer, put a little design on there that says put your Crayola marker thing in there, but that's her grant request. So that's something that I think we
Any
can.
particular size, did she say?
She didn't really say for the
Okay.
size. We can reach back out and ask for her, whatever it is. I guess it
thinking-
depends on how often she wants to empty them.
Yeah,
So.
I'm just thinking Amazon boxes, those stroll through my door every day.
Exactly,
How
exactly.
many classrooms are there?
I have 3 at
There's
home
20
right now.
Okay.
20 classrooms, maybe if you figure
Like
common
full
areas,
room
maybe the goal would be
Okay.
25, 30 boxes, I'm guessing.
Okay, so can I just volunteer to donate boxes then?
Yeah.
Do we wanna
Okay.
ask her like what size, 'cause
We can go back and ask her
See, I
before
was,
we do
cause
it.
like at the Dollar Tree, they have those really
Like the
cheapy with the
plastic
plastic,
shoebox
right,
size ones
with the
that look
clippy
pretty
lid.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
old and it's a smaller.
There we go. And those are reusable. That
Yeah.
might be even better.
I think she said reusable.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
You know what, I've got the grant report, I printed them out here.
I can look at it, babe.
For your Facebook Live.
Okay. I can multitask.
That's the request, so.
You can wrap them up in the.
I just kinda
in the paper, like in the hall, or.
boiled them down instead of providing too much information on there. So while she's looking at that, I'm gonna move on to our next one. And Amber Scher, who is a second grade teacher here, she has also asked for some flexible seating. And she was asking for 4 can-do donut ball seats, which are about $16 each, and 4 wobble cushions. This is the donut ball seat here, and these are the wobble cushions. I guess they go on top of the chair. It just gives her students some options. I think the whole idea with the flexible seating is give students some options for different seating arrangements and keep things going. These were on Amazon, so I was able to kind of just throw them in a cart and see how much it would cost. I didn't add in the tax on there, but it's not going to be that much. So that's $151.92. And then the last grant request we had was Andrea Halterman, who is a 5th grade teacher here, and she asked for a cue ball throwable wireless microphone. And this is a little picture of it here with its little accessories. It's hard to see, but it's an item that I think it's, from looking at it, I think it's about this big, and they can kind of toss it around. The idea is like in a meeting like this, if you want to give somebody literally give them the ball, like to talk and be the presenter, you can give it to them. They can talk into it. It projects their voice a little bit more, so they have quiet voices. She's leading a very highly student-led classroom. And so there's a lot of discussion and things like that in there, so this will
So it's
help
like
her
a fun,
facilitate
it's
that
like a
more.
fun microphone.
Exactly, and then it gives that person that person has the ball, they're talking, don't interrupt them, you know, that kind of thing. So the cost on that is $179.99 plus shipping and tax. I didn't see it on Amazon, so we couldn't use, that for it. But I did look it up, and it's pretty much the one out there. I mean, there were alternatives to it. There were the cubes, but they were like $600. So this one is definitely a good verifiable price on that too. I didn't verify out everything here, but I didn't think anything was crazy. So this is where we're going to open up the floor for debate and kind of talk about this. We did set aside money for teacher grants this year. We have a budget surplus that we have run through every year. Our first year we were pretty fiscally conservative because we don't know how things were going. But we talked as a board that when we met in the summer, we talked about using some of our additional funds and doing smart spend downs every year, like operating a little bit at a loss every year to try to spend down our balance. And because as a not-for-profit, we're not supposed to be sitting on a big hoard of cash, So we do have some wiggle room for some of these things. I don't think even if you added up all of these, we would even scratch the surface of what we set aside for our teacher grants. But this is what we have so far. I would anticipate we might see other ones later this year. Last year we funded Battle of the Books and some other items as well, but these are out there. So does anyone, let's maybe just go one by one and see if the group approves them. So for the one for Jamie McGann, for $120 or thereabouts.
Ray, can you, for those that may not remember, what did we budget for grants? Was it 2,500?
Let me look.
The budget sheet.
Well, yeah, so does each teacher get
Yeah, like
so?
a set amount or
I'm
no?
not sure.
We opted not to do ones for each teacher, knowing that when you have new teachers coming into the
5,000.
building, you get 5,000.
We did 5,000.
Yeah, we decided not to say everybody gets, $100 or whatever it is, because there's gonna be teachers that might have higher needs than other teachers, especially as we get some new staff members coming in that might have nothing, and then there's other staff members that I've been teaching for 25 years, I'm pretty good, So instead of making it out that way, we figured we would do it as a need-based. So that was kind of the plan. So, so if we talked about 5,000, right? So if we had 5,000, and we were talking 120, so it's, 300? We're about less than $500 total for all of these.
You anticipate
That's 10%.
additional requests to come in throughout the year? Is there
Probably.
like a certain
I would hope so.
time
If
that
we
you're going
budgeted
to-
5,000, you know, it all depends on where it comes up, you know. There's, you know, like the one that we had last year for Battle of the Books, I think was $300.
Yeah.
And that came in around middle of the year, right before they did that.
Well, then the assembly.
Well, the assembly's separate. That's not part of teacher grants. We have that as a separate fund if we decide to do that. So, so we definitely have that broken out in the budget. These are things that are meant to help out, you know, teachers build out their classrooms, fill out for some of the things that they.
So that didn't include 5th grade picnic or?
Did not include
Okay.
5th grade picnic or any of our other expenditures. These are separate things out there that are meant for this exact purpose, really. So, that being said, let's bring this to a vote. All in favor of funding the grant for Jamie McGann, raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Okay, passes. Boxes, I think we pretty much established that we will make that work one way or another for the boxes. The grant for Amber Share, which is about $150 some, $160. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Passes. Andrea Halterman for about, we'll call it $190, guessing tax and shipping, for the throwable wireless microphone. All in favor? Okay, anyone opposed? None. All right, they all passed. Thank you very much. And this is what'll happen. Whenever we have more grants like this come in, we'll bring it up at the next meeting and go from there. If there's something that's super time sensitive, we'll poll the group, whether it's on Facebook or email or whatever it is, and ask for a consensus vote for it. That's all we're looking to do with this, as long as we have the finances and everything else to do it. So, talking about making it rain and wish lists for teachers, we've also, as part of my reach out for that, we also asked them and said, hey, if you want, we'd be more than happy to set up an Amazon wish list for you. We can set this up through our Amazon Smile account. And so I set one up for Sandra, and she's working on filling it up. I told her, I said, when you're done, you know, adding stuff to your wish list, let me know and we'll help promote it. And so the idea is we can go out there and promote this to our group, and somebody can go on there and say, oh, you know what? I'll throw in a box of pens or whatever it is that they have out there, and I'm not saying that's what they're asking for, but whatever the items are that they're asking for their classroom. I know Sandra doesn't have her own class. She, you know, works with a myriad of students, so it's a little bit harder for her to get some of the things that maybe some of the other teachers can say, hey, I'm short on Kleenex or this or that or whatever. It's some opportunities out there. So hopefully we'll see some more of those and kind of help raise awareness and get some other items for them as well. So that's something we're doing as well. And if people use Amazon Smile, we'll get maybe another $19 check. So we'll see how that works out. So volunteers, obviously we talked about curriculum nights coming up. We're gonna have Boo Bash coming up. We're gonna spend a little more time on that. These are all areas where we need Scoopy Night, we talked about that. The Fall Book Fair, which we're definitely gonna need volunteers for as we get more details around that. And there's gonna be a lot more out there. There's a whole section on our website for it. One of the things we talked about, which I think was a great idea by Christina, was to have lanyards. So when we're working an event, we put the lanyard on, it's like a little name tag that'll say that. We can get these for $22 on Amazon. I think it's a pretty good steal as long as nobody disagrees with us. Not a custom printed thing, but we'll have 50 lanyards that we can just kind of change out the little tag that goes inside there. And it'll have a logo on one side and somebody's name on the other. So and it's maybe a nice way for volunteers to check in too at the event and whatnot. So I don't see anyone saying, no, we shouldn't do that. So I think we'll just go ahead and do that. We have operating costs in there, and that $22 can just come out of that. So that's something we'll do, and we'll have that set up for, you know. So, homecoming parade. So that's on Thursday, October 24th, and it's not for Petty, but it's for Antioch High School, right? Or is it all of District 117?
No, it's just Antioch High
Just
School.
Antioch High School.
Yeah.
They do the annual homecoming parade. I know in the past, like the marching bands and different groups go out there. Even Petty has had a group that's gone out there. Joanna had approached us to see, Joanna and Angelina, I believe, both did, asked us if we would help organize that. And as we are pledged with school spirit, I think it's a great way to do it. So assuming that there is not everybody in here says, no, we don't want to do that. we can go ahead and fill out the paperwork and get that in. The theme for this year is Hollywood, so if there's something we want to do, maybe that ties to that theme, might be kind of nice. I had suggested maybe we have the bucket drumming group going out there and doing like the 21st Century Fox thing with the little dun 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 da da da, you know, or whatever it is. We talked about maybe getting a banner printed, a new banner, since we have a new mascot and a logo out there. I talked to impressions count in town, and the cost is, depending on the size that we do, between $50 and $70, and it's a new banner for the school that we can have for as long as we want it. Things that we might want to consider having is little trinkets to give out, or whether it be candy. We can't throw it out, but we can walk around and hand it to people. No confetti or whatever. I know Joanna was pretty keen on maybe having pom-poms for people, but it does get kind of dark at 6:45 out there, and I thought, what about maybe like the glow light sticks?
We have leftover glow sticks from the day of 5,000.
Exactly.
Oh, great.
All right, so we have some of that stuff, and we have some other things out there that we can do out there as well. One thing that we wanted to ask, and this is something we can ask, does anybody have a truck and or trailer that we can use in the parade that they could drive?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are some options that we can work on that. If anybody is interested in helping with organizing the homecoming parade and some of that, that's things that we'll start working on as we're doing all the other things that we're doing. So let us know, and we'll work on that. But I think this is a nice time for us to get out there and really show some petty pride.
Students will be able to walk?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We want students to walk. And we just need to kind of figure out one of the things that they had on the form. Do we want to be requested to be near a band or whatever? We can. We don't have to be. We can do whatever we want. It's just a matter of kind of figuring out how we want to organize it. So, but we'll do a sign-up sheet for people to sign up. Joanna, did
The
you have
reason I made a request for pom-poms is because the students that have walked in the past are kind of like, what do I do? And they feel awkward
Oh, yeah.
waving, and just something to do with their hands.
Well, what if they do like some sort of like glow twirly things or something? It'll
So I'm not stuck on pom-poms per se.
just something to keep their
You never
hands
know.
busy so they don't have like little zombies.
I might want to.
We'll make sure you get some pom. Maybe even glow in the dark ones. You never know. You never know. So that's coming up. If you have ideas, you have thoughts, you want to be involved with that at all, outside of just walking, please let us know, and we'll make sure that your voice is heard.
It's not a long parade either, so it's not a huge
very
time
short.
commitment. Yeah.
It's really kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it really is.
And hopefully we'll get some nice weather.
Yeah.
No rain. So, all right, that's homecoming parade. Then, I was approached by Angelina about designing some cards, and there's two sets of cards. We've got birthday cards here, which you kind of see one of my mock-ups that I made here, and a miss you card. And the idea is with the birthday cards, every staff and student would get a card from the school for their birthday. And the miss you card is something that would be used, I haven't listed as prolonged absences, but the idea is somebody's missed some time at school, send them a card saying, hey, we miss you, come on back. You know, especially maybe before they get that form letter. I think that's kind of what they were saying. So maybe, that's something out there.
Right, because you don't always want it to be such a like, oh, here's the letter, you know? It's-
I don't really care, I'm like,
Yeah.
And how often do you get like fun mail at home, like especially for the kids?
Kids love it.
They're not getting anything yet,
especially if their name's on it,
right? They
you
just
know?
jump straight to bills when you get older. And you're like, no, there's some good mail out there, right?
Totally. So roughly the cost, and I actually inflated this number a little bit, is under 30 cents a piece. Again, I was talking with, I looked at some print places online that, deal in bulk and whatnot, and had some good costs there, but I talked to the guy in town. He gives us quite a good rate because we're a nonprofit, we're local, we'll work with them. It's actually under that cost. So based off of that, even if you use that 30 cents, we figured 800 cards, so there's 600 birthday cards, which was enough for all staff and student plus a few extras. And then maybe 200 of the miss you cards. The cost is about $240 for the entire year. So
Plus stamps?
No, we're not paying postage. So at least I didn't include that in there. So I think the school will pay for that. So we're just providing the cards and the envelopes that go inside them. If for some reason the miss you cards, this number is not accurate, we can always do a reprint. it's not based on quantity for these prices, which is often the case with printing, but he said he'd hold the price for us no matter what. It basically works out, he's given us like a 30% discount on pretty much anything we order, which is fair. So that's something out there. This is something I wanted to bring up. I made a couple different designs. These are the ones that Joanna and Angelina chose. I think they were kind of on the fence a little bit about them because they like both of them, but they chose these, and I think they're my favorite too. So, but I'd like to bring this up and say, let's bring this to a vote for approval. All in favor of the $240 to get these cards produced? Raise your hand. Anyone opposed? All right, passed. I will send these designs to the printer tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have them in a week. So we'll have those going out here shortly. Melissa, I'll talk to you, be in touch with you how he wants the payment. I don't know if he just wants me to pay and then reimburse, or you want to maybe be the person that picks them up and pays for them at the time or whatever. It's right downtown, Impressions County. So, all right, great. So that's done. Oh, I went backwards. All right, book fair. So our first book fair is taking place over conferences. The actual dates are November 15th through the 22nd, which is like a Friday to a Friday. And we're going with Follett book fairs for this fall one, which is a little different. Last spring, Nancy Bernard had talked to us about seeing if we could help out with the book fairs and get a little more involvement from the boosters. And at that point, Melissa Stager had volunteered to help kind of coordinate that a little bit. But in my meeting that I had with Joanna and Angelina last Friday, I found out that Nancy is no longer with us. So I believe it's an open position still for the librarian. So if you're a librarian and you want to work, maybe send a resume in. But in the meantime, Melissa and I are probably going to step up our level of activity here and really make this happen. So I reached out to Follett and said, hey, have I missed anything? What's going on? You know, whatever. So we're gonna meet with them next week about the details for this conference. So there's gonna be more coming out, or for the book fair, which happens during conferences. But we'll get that stuff all squared away on running the book fair. However, if we want to do more than just the book fair along with it, you know, sometimes they do raffles that happen through, you have kind of like a family night, which would be probably one of the 2 conference nights that people can come in and order books. We could do some silent raffles or things like that. We can do different things like that if we want to have a theme. Those are things that we can work with. So if anybody would like to help out and pitch in with that, let Melissa or I know, and we'll do that. We've also talked about a spring book fair, because normally we do 2. In the past, they've always done Scholastic, and one reason that Nancy wanted to move away from Scholastic, at least for the fall one, is that Amy Bendall, who I think is the district media coordinator, had done one last year through Follett and said it was the easiest that they had ever done. The other thing I think that kind of influenced it was you get Scholastic bucks when you do Scholastic, and in the past they've always been able to use those for those like Scholastic weekly reader type things or whatever. Well, they've changed that. You can't use Scholastic bucks for that anymore. So I think
And they're very pushy.
Oh, so I get 3 or 4 emails from Scholastic a day. So, yeah. So, we'll see. You know, and Follett even kind of said, hey, are you interested in doing your spring one and whatever? And I explained, you know, we're going to wait and see and whatever. And she said, well, I get it. You know, a lot of my schools do one of each every year, because then there's different variety of books, you know, things like that. So the Follett people have actually been great, and if that's the case and that trends up, maybe we just do only Follett. I don't know, but that's out there, and that's something we can discuss as well. But let's get past fall and move from there, and then we'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update, because those November dates will be coming up quick, and getting some people to help out with that will be much appreciated. So, all right, holiday shop, and I'm going to hand this back over to Christina to kind of bring this up. This is something we talked about over the summer.
Yeah. So we want to bring back holiday shop for the kids. For those of you that don't know what it is, the kids can pick out gifts, get a low cost for their families. Something that kids like to do, because it's something they pick out that's affordable to the parents. I did contact 5 companies. I contacted Holiday Treasures, Candy Cane Holiday Shop, Little Shoppers Shop, Penguin Patch Holiday Shop, and Holiday Gift Shop. I ended up narrowing it down to two, that they're and narrowed them down by two by what their incentives were. What was giving us the best for what we, were looking for. So these are my two, that I narrowed it down to. Some of the things that they both offer, we do get registers. The gift pricing ranges anywhere from 25 cents to $12, but most of their gifts are, or I should say 80% of their gifts are under $4. There's no inventory count at the end of the event. We box everything back up, and they, one company, option 2, picks up. They actually personally deliver and drop off the items. Penguin Patch is gonna be a ship, so they'll send us the shipping, give us a shipping label. We have to coordinate a UPS pickup, and then that's how they get it back. We can have the option of marking up, to get a little bit of fundraising in for this event. It could be anywhere from 0% if we choose to do nothing, up to 30. I was told by both companies 10% is usually the average that they do for markup, but we can make it whatever we decide. It can even be 5. Gift wrapping, they do include gift wrapping. If you guys aren't familiar, this company already sent me stuff. This is just a little sample, but they're like little Mylar bags. They send them in all different sizes. So it's an easy, and it's just a peel, and then you can permanent marker. So the kids, everything gets wrapped that day also. They do include table covers. Both of them do include like table covers to cover the tables, and tent cards for the pricing, and all of our promotional material. So posters, letters to go home, the little budget envelopes that can be sent home also with a letter that gives, if a parent sends home with, wants to send a kid to school with money, it tells how much you can spend per, family member. So the things that were different about them, and here we can kind of decide as a group which one we feel like is best. So Penguin Patch has loyalty reward points. So $1, we get a point, 1 point for every $1 earned. So we can use those points to purchase items like popcorn machines, school supplies, books, Keurig machines, like all that kind of stuff. We can, it's kind of, free for all with their options. They have offered us to send us a free scooter that we can choose to do whatever we decide to do with, whether raffle off or, however, whatever we choose to do with it after our first holiday shop. They also have an option to give free and or reduced lunch, a chance to shop at a special table at no extra cost. So that will give the kids that are a little bit, or families that can't afford to send their kids to buy, gifts for their families. They can shop at a special table, and it's no extra cost to us to do that. They did ship out 6 free backpacks just for me calling to get information from them. They're actually arriving here tomorrow, so we can decide to do, what we want to do with those. I did tentatively book for the 2nd week of December, and the only reason why I did was if I did, that's how I got that free scooter promo. I have until October 5th to cancel without any penalties, so it's still plenty of time. So we can decide, once we look at both options. Holiday Gift Shop is actually locally located. They're about less than an hour away from here, but the thing that I liked about them is they personally drop things off and pick up.
That's pretty nice.
It's not a UPS, like for example today, the lady dropped off this little sample pack, so you guys can take a look at their stuff, so you can see the quality of their stuff. She just dropped this off to me today. I actually happened to be at the school and she was walking in the door, so it worked out. We do get a 10% bonus if we sign up by the end of September, so that's a nice little plus. And then we get free fun bucks. So what that is they're giving us $1 per student. So if we have 600 students, they're giving us $600. we can decide if we wanna use those for the free or reduced
Mhm.
students, or we can give $1 to every student that walks through the door that night of the event, or the day, whatever, however we choose. We can completely decide how we wanna use those bucks. There's no rules on their end. Let's see. They also have online ordering, and you can also, see the, preview the products online, and it gives the pricing ahead of time. They do have an open house coming up, which I'm gonna try to attend. I got the sample pack. One thing about them is we can either call their shop, they have 2 different names, depending on what you wanna go with. The Holiday Gift Shop, or they also can call it the Santa Secret Shop. They have, materials for both, depending on, how you wanna be with that. One thing I just found out today from them, from Leah, the rep, they carry Toys for Tots sponsored items. So every time a sponsored item is purchased, they will, donate a toy of equal value to Toys for Tots. So that I thought was kind of nice too. So, I guess we can kind of decide as a group what we feel like, is, I have personally never dealt with either of these, as far as like running a shop, because I've done, these before. But, I mean, we'll never know until we try, right?
Are you leaning, you're closest to this, are you leaning one way or another?
I'm leaning more towards option 2.
That was kind of, after hearing you talk about it,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I thought.
I just feel like they're more of a, like, personal company,
Mhm.
like, even, I just, like, I just like that,
Instead of
you know what I
a
mean?
form big business company,
Yeah.
which is.
I mean, the
anything with-
scooter's nice, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but,
Too, because we get so much back, and the Toys for Tots thing, like, it's not just helping
Mhm.
us, it's helping other
Yeah,
kids.
I really did like
Yeah,
that part.
yeah.
I might have been looking at the stuff, did you say what the 10% bonus, is that like the
Profit.
fundraising bonus?
our
Okay.
profit, yeah. So if we decide to do 0, we still get 10%.
Okay.
If we do 5%, we get 15 total back. If we do 10, it's 20 back. So, the one thing with that is I just need to, sign with them by the end of September, which we still have time to.
Online is nice.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I said too,
mean,
the
you
online
can't
is nice.
come, But your kids still wanna shop
Mhm.
secretly
Or
something.
even the online product preview, cause you can sit with your child, if we, do it during the day.
It'll take my daughter
And,
an hour
you know
to
what I
go
mean, like
through.
write down, you know what I mean?
We
What-
have iPads here at school now, it's too big.
So
It took
it's-
us an hour when we were in Hillcrest, an hour.
Yeah, so, I mean, I personally am leaning towards 2, but like I said, option 2, but these 2 were the best that gave, the better incentives, and that's why I went with these 2. Cause I wasn't gonna run down 5 different companies for you guys, or we'd be here forever.
Right.
So I kind of like, pros and cons, and
Yeah.
then pulled them, so.
All right, so let's do this as an informal poll here real quick. Just hold up a 1 or a 2 based off of what option you're liking here. All right, I see all 2s, I think.
And there's
so-
2 more 2s on here.
That's great. One of the things that we talked about doing with this is we'll have the event and whatever, but we also talked about, I mentioned having the Spirit Wear order in November. We would have an event where they can come if we do it on like a Saturday or something, because people work or whatever. Have it on a Saturday, and that'd be the day you pick up your Spirit Wear as well. So, especially if you're buying Spirit Wear for your kid as a Christmas gift, at least then they won't necessarily see it, sent home with them in a backpack. Oh, I'm getting this or
Yeah.
whatever. And there's maybe some other things that we could do. I thought about, can we try to maybe get like the Bobcat singers to do some caroling or whatever that day, and kind of make a little event out of it that day.
Or we
and
can
have
even,
something.
I was thinking, we could even combine it and do like a cookies with Santa or cookies with Frosty, like something,
Whatever we
you know what I
want.
mean?
Mhm.
Cookies is easy, we're not making
Yeah.
pancakes, So, it's an easy thing,
So, well, it sounds like we're set on this, we're set on doing it. Let's look at nailing down the dates, coordinating the dates, and then if anybody wants to be involved with planning for that, now is the time to kind of start thinking about that. We'll get a building request in and get this moving.
Yeah.
But we can do that all outside of the meeting and moving from there. So if you have questions on it, let Christina or I know, and we'll make sure everybody gets hooked up that wants to be involved with that. So, something interesting, and it'll be fun to see how it works out. So, all right. moving on, because we're not to our deep dive yet. All right, bowling event. We had a bowling event last year. We did it over winter break. We're looking to do it again Monday, December 30th. I'm gonna go really fast. If you have things that you would like to change from last year, we had issues because we had such a high demand. People got turned away, basically. They couldn't handle it. So I'm gonna talk to the bowling people about reserving that date and talking about the option for either renting out the facility and then we take the whole facility and then we sell the tickets and say this is what it's gonna be, or you know, do we just go out there and do the amount per package sold, but say, hey, if you're gonna do this, we gotta figure out a ways to not make people stand in line out the door for 45 minutes while you're trying to get people's shoe sizes and stuff like that.
I think
So
also having an adult instead of a 15-year-old behind the register.
we'll make it work out. So I'm really thinking that renting out the facility is probably the way to go, especially with how popular it was. I just need to make sure they're okay with that and then find out what the costs are. I'll report back on that for our next meeting and then we can talk about it in more detail. That's kind of where we're going. If you have thoughts on it, let me know and I'll be reaching out to them in the next week or two. Spirit of the Bobcat, we're gonna go through this fast. Anybody that wasn't here last year, we have this beautiful, lovely, wonderful, highly coveted trophy here. It's for teachers and staff only. They can earn points for basically supporting the Bobcats. They can do it for volunteering for things, attending our meetings, or on Facebook Live even. Membership in our social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all those kinds of things, being on our email list, sharing, sending out posts about our stuff in their student newsletters, or their parent newsletters going out. You know, hey, there's a meeting going on here, or this is going on, or that's going on, all out there, or Seesaw, Dojo, whatever it is. Class participation, so if they're working on one of our fundraisers, we always ask for what's your teacher. We ask for that so we can keep track of that and we can give them credit for the things that they do. We have an I Spy form that's out there, that's on our website, that parents can say, hey, I saw this teacher do this, I saw them do that, or whatever, and report that back to us so we make sure that they get credit for it. What we do is I have this beautiful little spreadsheet and I tally up all these little things that I see every month and we make it into a competition. This, whether you like it or not. Third place this month goes to Amy Turner. Second place goes to Lisa Fisher, and our first place winner this month, Jamie Scoville.
Woo! Yay!
Congratulations, Jamie. I'll leave this in your mailbox. If you get a chance, take a picture, send it to us. We'll put it on Facebook, and then we'll take it back in October for the next person.
Maybe
So-
not. Maybe not.
Oh, but one thing that happens is, as they win for this trophy, not only that, they also get entered into a raffle. We're gonna do it twice a year, once in December, one at the end of the year, based off of their activities. It's not just the winner, it's kind of a weighted system, but they can get entered for a $50 gift card from us. So, twice during the year. So that's something we'll do out there. Last year, there were a ton of people, I think people that didn't even think they were gonna get entered into the raffle, got entered because they did enough. They might not have won every month, but they still got in there. And actually, I think our two winners were not the winners that took home the prize every month either. So it really is a cool system that works out and rewards people for doing different things. So if you have questions about it, let me know. I can fill you in, but I'm not sharing my proprietary formula. All right, deep dive topics. So we've got two of them, one of which is talking about getting a new mascot costume. So we've redesigned the logo. I don't know if you've ever seen the people that wear the mascot costume. It's ungodly hot. And we're looking at maybe getting a new mascot because this one's maybe getting, in my eyes, maybe a little mangy. But looking at getting a new one updated that's got some cooling fans in the head to make it a little bit easier on whoever is wearing it. We can do that. There's some options here for a total of $450, which includes tax, shipping, the cooling fans and all of that, and we'll have a new mascot costume. So I've got a couple options here. Well, first of all, before we do that, is anyone opposed to using funds for this for the school?
Just out of curiosity, how old is the mascot costume?
It's
That's
scary
old.
looking.
Yeah.
Right? It's scary.
Yeah. Full
I
screen.
think this is year 3.
Okay. Oh, that's still not.
Really? Oh, it looks like it's from the 70s.
Don't
Wow.
tell Lisa Fisher.
Okay.
Hopefully she's not watching on Facebook Live.
No, I think she was one of the people who wanted
But
that.
she's all about the cooling fan.
Yeah.
Well, she had reached out to us about getting a new t-shirt for it anyways, which we would do, but that got me thinking, why not maybe get something that's a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah.
So, all right, so anyone opposed to this expenditure? No. All right, so here are some options. We've got option A, there's a bunch of different ones on the site. There are easily some ones that are not very good here. I'm telling you this because my theory is throw out some ones that everybody agrees stink. And that way then at least you narrow some of them out of the field. Option B, option C, and option D. So these are some of the options. They'll have the cooling fans. Obviously they'll have a shirt that's with our logo and whatever on it. But these are some options out there. The idea would be great is if we can get this approved and get this set up and ordered and get this in time for our first powwow, which would be fantastic. And at least the homecoming parade and have our brand new mascot at the thing. So any thoughts? I'm just gonna, I don't want to take the time to do a vote for everything, but is there anyone that jumps out at anyone?
A. I think D.
B.
Okay, I heard some D. Okay, we're gonna have to go one by one. All right, option A. Who likes option A? All right, that's one. Option B. All right, seen a lot more. Option C.
Scary looking.
Okay. And option D.
I like D. That's what I'm saying. It's the least
Okay.
scariest looking.
So
Okay.
it looks like option B is probably the winner. I will say I did an informal poll with my 2 students
Yeah.
at home, and it was so far it had been up until this point.
We have
unanimous
some
for
some
option B.
Facebook Live votes, and it looks like we've got 2 for B, 3 for B or D, and then 1 for C. So looks like B.
Yeah. I think the thought on A was maybe a little too fierce for kindergartners.
Yeah.
It's the color because our Bobcat is gray
Right.
in the mascot. So yeah, I get
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's
There weren't a lot of other good ones that were gray. They were more like house cats or crazy like wild cats or whatever. So is everybody okay with B?
I like.
So, all right. So I will reach out.
The shirt?
It does come with a shirt. It does come with a shirt.
So you never,
and we
you
can
never
get that.
can wear it without the shirt?
You can wear it with or without,
Oh.
and we can get that printed on there too, or get the color that we want. But
I mean,
my thought
yeah.
was just get something from our spirit store and put it on there, which will
But
probably
there's
even
the
be
option
cheaper.
to not have
There
the
is the
shirt
option
on,
just
so
not
you
to.
can just look
Yep.
like an animal
Yep.
without the
Yep.
shirt.
Oh, maybe we can do
It does have
cookies with
shoes.
the new mascot.
What's that?
Cookies with the new mascot.
Holiday shop?
Cookies with Bobcat, the new mascot.
Exactly. There at the homecoming parade, I think this can come in handy for a lot of different
Yeah.
things. And I think it might be a nice thing for the students as well. So, all right, that's the mascot. We're moving on to Boo Bash. And this is where we might go a little into overtime, but we're gonna try not to.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
All right. When? Saturday, October 19th. We've reserved the day. I actually have reserved the building from 10 to 8 p.m. That wouldn't be the whole time that we would do Boo Bash, but we're gonna need setup time and cleanup time. But we need to figure out when we wanna do this because it impacts what we wanna do and what vendors we would need and whatnot. Pricing, different things like that. So that's something that we need to have a discussion about. Oops, went backwards again. Possible activities. We talked about doing a trunk or treat or some variation of that, whether it's out of people's cars or we set up tables somewhere or whatever it is. We can do something like that. The DJ and dancing, I guess, was a little popular from the spring event. So was the photo booth there. And that's something we talked about bringing back. Maybe have bouncy house games that kids can play. The idea of Boo Bash is to have a carnival. It's a Halloween carnival. If you've been to it before, I have not actually been to the previous Boo Bashes, but this has been something that people have been asking for quite some time. And raffles. So whatever we decide, we need to start, getting volunteers and organizing for the day of the event. And actually, I've already started a sign-up sheet online based off of just general stuff, and we can always tweak that. Backwards again. All right, food. We need to decide whether do we want to do our own food and have somebody selling that and do that, or do we want to look at bringing in like a food truck or 2 food trucks or whatever and have them handle that, and then we contract them and we get a cut of it or whatever, which might be kind of nice because maybe it takes a little bit of pressure off us doing it. But we've got some feelers out to a hot dog place and like a ice cream Hawaiian ice shake
Yeah.
place.
I haven't gotten a response from either of them.
All right,
So.
well, we'll find out about it. There's other places out there we can look at
Yeah.
as well. We could look at places maybe like Antioch Pizza that would want to come and set up, kind of like they do Taste of Summer or whatever and have a booth there. So
Pizza.
we can can do that too. So there's a lot of options out there, but these are things that we'll need to discuss as a group. We need to form, basically the bottom line is, we need to form a group to start planning this and get this out there. We're a little over a month away. We need to start promoting about it. The idea is maybe we sell wristbands or tickets for the different things. So if they want to play games, they can have tickets. Or if you want an all-in, you pay $25 for a wristband and you're in for all of it or whatever it is. I don't know those prices. I'm just throwing stuff out there and we can kind of figure it out.
So real quick, cause you talked about that, this company that we decided to go with, they do fun fairs.
Okay.
So they have games, they can do ticket or wristband, so
Ding, ding, ding.
we,
Oh,
Right.
yay.
yeah.
So
Now, I have a question though, are we limited to inside, or are we doing it outside and inside?
So I think we can do either or with the building as far as that goes. The problem is weather permitted. You know,
Right.
I don't want to have a ton of outside stuff and then it rains and then it's like, okay,
Well, like
we don't have enough
they used
indoor
to
stuff.
do like haunted hay rides and like do the perimeter.
Mhm. So yeah, I don't know, and we'd have to see if that would be an option to run a tractor around or whatever. But we can figure out those different things as we move on. We do have the building reserved for that date. We have times. We need to just start nailing down details, but to do that, we need a group of people that are willing to say, hey, let's help plan this and do this. So if you are interested in this, we need you. And if you can,
Yes.
sign up for this, that would be great. I know some people have said, oh, this is great, I'll help with this and whatever, but I haven't heard from anyone yet. So we need to really, if you're really serious about doing this, and the level of commitment is as much time as you're willing to give to it. Don't feel like you have to give, 100 hours between now and then. Give what you can and we'll make it work. But we do need people out there to do that. So we'll start organizing some smaller meetings between now and then to do that.
That is the same day as the Treat the Streets.
But the Treat the Streets is the following week.
I'm pretty sure it is that same day.
I thought we looked at, I can't look at it right now.
Okay, well, we'll look
But
at
yeah,
it and verify that. But when we looked at the dates, we did look at the Treat the Streets and we picked a different.
I think it's the following weekend.
So,
Maybe they moved it. I don't know.
all right, well, we'll find out.
I'm looking right now.
If not, maybe we'll have to move this.
Yep.
So, or we try to plan it for timing after Treat the Streets. Treat the Streets and then walk on down to Petty for the Boo Bash, or whatever it is. So those are things that we can talk about and work for, but we are trying not to conflict with that.
Sure.
So, we'll see that. So thanks for bringing that up. Volunteers, small, but maybe that needs to be bigger. We need them. So, that's Boo Bash. If you wanna stick around and talk a little bit about it, this is the last of what we had going on there. The only other things we have is our next meeting is October 2nd, I think is the first Wednesday in October, so we hope to see you guys all back here. There's ways that you can contact us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, our email account. We have a phone number that you can voice or text us. Our website for volunteer signups, request form if you want, support for volunteers or whatever that's more for teachers and staff. We've got our mailing list sign up. You can sign up for our text messaging as well through Remind, and then we have our calendar and lots more. So.
I think once we figure out what we're doing for the Boo Bash, it'll be easier to get volunteers.
For volunteers for a day of, but we need volunteers to help us with the planning and help, make it, bring the vision to light is really what we're looking for. So there's two levels of volunteers there, so, but yeah. So, and with that, we always say, if you volunteer on the day of to work a shift, the idea is you volunteer, you don't volunteer for the whole time, you volunteer for a chunk of it, and then the rest of the time you can be there to enjoy with your family. And volunteers will get in for free.
Yeah, it's the 19th, right?
They moved it to the 19th?
Wow.
All right, so we'll talk about that as a group and see about, do we want to move it or do we want to add on or whatever we want to do. So we'll look at that and kind of go from there. How did that backfire, Jason?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Unless they changed it, because it used to
Maybe they changed
be
it.
Treat the Streets and it's not, they changed it to Harvest Days, or Harvest Fest.
Oh, jeez.
That's
So-
probably what it is. We probably saw a date for Treat the Streets and then they swapped.
Unless they
So,
change, yeah.
We can
So-
call a village and find out. So.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Cause theirs is from 12 to 4.
Why don't we ask them to move their date?
I had the building request in before they sent out the flyer. So we'll figure it out. We'll look at that. But if you want to be involved, maybe that buys us an extra week of planning.
Yeah.
So, but that's out there, and thank you all for coming. So Perfect.
Thanks.